Alright, boys and girls, it's dawned on me that from reading some of your all's pre-write, some of you guys are not understanding or even reading some of the weekly readings. So I put together a little video going over this week's reading in hopes of making sure some of the questions that I could foresee you having will be helped out. So first of all, I want to make sure that if you guys are not doing this part, if you're not doing the vocabulary ahead of time, it is going to slow you down. These are words, 5 words in this case, that are probably not familiar to a lot of you. My guess is you've heard this word before, but you've probably heard it only in a legal term. And it doesn't necessarily mean exactly what my guess some of you guys have heard. It's you know, molested can literally be just somebody being bugged or bothered. Being bullied is a type of molestation, actually. So anyways, it's important to go through these words, and it's extremely useful, like I said, to go through and do that process, like I told you before, of coming up with the synonyms for those words. So, for example, over here on this page, with molested, I can go ahead and write bullied. Oops, not blueyed. Bullied. Boom. And that's, you know, like I said, one of the things that's going to help you understand this a little bit better. Additionally, you know, you should be looking at this Tuesday or Wednesday. If you have not already gotten a copy of the Access For document, it's really important that you go ahead and print it. It is possible to actually write it on a computer, but you have to have specific software. So there's 1 or 2 of you in there who might want to go ahead and try this, but for the rest of you, this is going to be important to go ahead and complete this. So again, your job is to complete this piece right here. This is crucial for you guys. Hopefully you've figured out by now, I'm no longer requiring that you all do weekly previews. You do not have to preview each other's work. Instead, you're doing this. This is your 50-point assignment. But it's particularly useful to me because, and to you, because it's going to show that you've spent some time going over the vocabulary, that you spent some time identifying exactly what's going on in this reading, and then most important, you've gone through and followed this model, which is going to walk you exactly through what it is you need to write on your pre-write. So this is what you are doing on Wednesday to bring into me on Thursday. And then I check it off, make sure that it's complete, and then give you credit and then give it back to you so that you can go home on Friday and write your pre-write using this as a model. So let's just kind of go through. This is, again, this is your Wednesday work. Ideally, you have your Access For worksheet right next to you while you're reading this, and you can come over to this page and do the first part, the activity with the vocabulary, and then you can come over to this page, and if you want to go ahead and just knock off the vocab quiz first before you get into the reading, you can. This is going to take you to a link over here where you have to put in your email address and write your answer, write your name, and then it's going to go through and you get to choose which vocabulary term goes into the blank. It's very much like the paper we've been doing, but this way I can get folks who aren't always showing up in class. However, like I said, you have to go through this reading, and it is not the easiest reading. If you have not yet figured out that you can use this audio, it's a really useful tool, you guys. Very useful tool. Again, you come across a lot of these words, and I know for some of you, you come across words like Canandaigua. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, but you just go, bleh, you know, and you don't read it at all. And what you're basically doing is allowing your brain to turn off at one point. That's a bad habit to set while you're reading something. Reading is a very active part of the thought process. Giving yourself permission to just go bleh at one point is not going to help you a whole lot. So again, let me show you how this works. The audio goes through, and you even have the option of slowing it down or speeding it up. Additionally, you can have it go ahead and chunk the text for you. Again, this is another really useful tool. Let me show you how all of these work. First, you click the audio. And then you can go highlight. You can also slow it down. Okay, so Canandaigua, not Canandaigua, but at any rate, you see what I'm talking about. It actually reads those words to you. You're also going to find that some of the words that you struggle with reading, you will recognize when you hear them. For example, indictments. Excuse me, not that. This one right here, indictments. My guess is many of you have heard that word, even though when you come across it in your reading, you might not be that familiar with it. So, at any rate, what I wanted to do with this is I just wanted to give you some overview. You've got the tools to help you read through it, so I'm not going to read it to you. But I do want to give you a couple little pieces in here that I don't think are necessarily covered by the tools that you already have. First of all, one of the things that is true about this writer, she's writing about 100 years ago, and for those of you who have memorized the preamble to the Constitution of the United States, you know that they liked to write long sentences. She does the same thing here. And what that means is you're going to have many thoughts in one sentence. That's going to happen a lot. For example, take a look at this one right here. It's not letting me highlight. I'll go right there. So this one goes all the way to here. That's 3 lines. That's 3 lines. Quite a few different thoughts coming out in this piece right here. So when you're reading it, it's useful to look for all punctuation and stop at the end of the punctuation and figure out what it is you just read. Normally, modern day, you can kind of look for periods and do the same thing. But a long time ago, that wasn't necessarily so true, because period just stated the end of a sentence, and within it you would have many, many thoughts. Many thoughts. Let's take this one as an example again. No such charge is brought against these women. Now you got a semicolon right there, and for those of you who remember, a semicolon actually it operates in the same way as a period. It's supposed to represent that this is a complete thought. It could be a sentence all on its own if you wanted to. Obviously, she doesn't want to, but it could be. So in other words, this is a good place to stop and go, what does that say? No such charge is brought against these women. So you probably got, you got these women involved, charges brought against them, it's no. The only trick here is you got such, which is actually referencing something they've already talked about. So if you read it in order, you're going to know they're talking about something up here. So they're referencing the previous paragraph, but at any rate, like I said, this is a really good tool when you're reading through this. No such charge is brought against these women. Okay, so this charge talked about up here, they're saying that charge isn't brought against them. Then you have the next one. They took, oops, got a little bit more than I needed there. They took no false oaths. Okay, again, good idea to stop right there and go, what, do I understand that? They took no false oaths. Okay, so they didn't lie. All right, so there, you got that one down again. Oops, keep on doing that. They simply swore that they were citizens of the United States, and as the 14th Amendment to the Constitution declares, remember the 14th Amendment was the one that set the slaves free, that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens thereof. Okay, again, good time to stop and go, do I understand that? Okay. So they simply swore they were United States citizens. All right. So, like I said, it's a good idea to go ahead and stop periodically, because I know for a lot of you, you're gonna start here, get to this period, and go, I don't know what I just read. Well, it's because it's a different way of reading. You have to kind of change what you're used to here. So that's one tool. And like I said, using the audio is a good idea. You can pause it and then come back to it when you're ready again. Now there's a little bit of vocabulary in here that I wanted to make sure I covered for you, because it's not one of the vocabulary terms, and I understand that even if you are slowing down and focusing, when you come across vocabulary, you're not always going to be jumping to the dictionary. So this word right here, stump. Okay, you're going to come down in here. This is the part where, you know, she's finally gotten out. You know, she was originally arrested, and now there's going to be a court trial. And it says that once out on bail, with indomitable pluck and energy, went to work to stump the county in which the court was to sit. So stump means basically talk up. So in other words, you know, she's going to get tried in this county, and she voted, and she, you know, legally wasn't supposed to, even though some of the laws seem to suggest that she should be able to. That's her argument. And to basically get support and education out there, she wanted to make sure she got her argument out, because the country was in a unique situation at the time. They passed a law that, if you read it literally, meant women could vote. However, at that time, women couldn't vote. So it was this interesting situation where, if you're going to take the 14th Amendment literally, then women get to vote, you know. But that caused a problem with the existing laws, and even more so with the existing understandings, because most people, in fact, even a lot of women, didn't necessarily agree that women should be able to vote. So that's what she was doing. That she was talking up. She was, what I was just saying right now, she was going around the county and spreading their argument, basically saying, yeah, I know you guys, you're not used to women voting, but let's read the 14th Amendment. Let's see what it says. So that's what stump means. And then a little further down here, they use the word canvas. Let's see if I can find that one. Canvas. This. There we go. So down here it says, this is where the district attorney was upset because he thought that Miss Anthony going around and stumping, you know, spreading her ideas around the country was going to be a problem. Not the country, excuse me, the county. Because he thought they were tainting the jury. Now the jury basically all knew about this, and he thought that that was going to throw them off. You know, when you go into a jury, you're not supposed to have preconceived notions about it. Anyways, down here it says, so he was upset, and he was upset because the dauntless woman, dauntless being can't stop her, had already started on the canvas of Ontario County. So she went on, and canvas is similar. If you think about spreading a canvas over a frame to make a painting, canvas is kind of the same thing. You're spreading that idea. So that's what canvassing means here. It's kind of a figurative way of saying you are spreading an idea across an entire area. It can even be used as just a verb for, like, traveling. You know, I canvassed the entire country of Europe. But normally it's, you know, going to be talking about, you know, you're spreading some ideas. Now, there's some more in here that are going to be difficult, but I think with context clues, you're probably going to be able to do okay. But feel free, absolutely, to, you know, keep a dictionary at hand, you know, or just keep a tab open with dictionary.com, and you should do fine. But it does take a little while. You got to read through it. If you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to do the pre-write. You're just going to be writing some random stuff in there that makes no sense to anybody. All right, so take your time, ask questions in class, and good luck.